Was there a scapegoat? Was there a bad kid in the family? Was there an identified patient in the family?
So at various times. So the first one that I was aware of.
Fail for you.
Was my youngest brother Tom, who had a learning disability, and the whole family had to kind of get together and sort of like learn how to help him. I don't really remember too much about this because it was at a time when the family was in a lot of turmoil. So he was kind of scapegoated, like things may not be like other families, and it's because of him. That was not the overt message, but it was just sort of like the way it felt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my sister, once she went through puberty, started making like having boyfriends that my parents like totally disapproved of. And there was always this, I remember, some of the arguing between my mom and my sister learning to kind of out mom by just going off and doing what she wants to do. So she was sort of a scapegoat at that time. My second brother, Bill, second in order, so he was older than Tom. He was sort of like the golden child, but still he was the one that got in trouble. But somehow that was all okay. But still he took on that energy. And then for me, it was when I started to do drugs, like and made music my clear choice. And sort of my junior year in high school, and I became a problem. And it was a problem that was solved by distance and money. And I really was just kind of like lost. I didn't know what it was that I was headed towards, and I kind of didn't care as long as I kind of felt okay.
Distance and money?
Yeah. My dad had given us a really generous allowance, like when we went off to college, so we wouldn't have to work, but we could still, and so when my dad's like sort of drinking got to a certain level, that just didn't stop. You quit college, the money still came. And I remember not knowing how to handle money, how to pay my bills, how to stay out of debt, how to use a credit card. None of that was ever taught to me. I made all of the mistakes. And my father, really, the way that he expressed his love was through that money. That money was a stand-in for slot cars and gasoline airplanes and stuff. And it was with my sibs. And when my dad got sober, part of the step work of doing the 12 steps is to make it right with the people that you may have harmed. And so he did that. And the way that he made right was to cut us all off. I was not too impressed with that move and was not very happy about it, but thank God he did it. Thank God he did it. And it cleared the way for us to finally have a relationship that was back to where we started. We rode motorcycles all over the place together.
Yeah.
And had a killer relationship.
You traded slot cars for motorcycles. Yeah. We shared time together.
Funny thing, Dad was the one I spent years wearing them down. They finally let me get a motorcycle. And my father was the one, no. My older brother was hurt really bad on a motorcycle. They're awful. And so then fast forward to me being in rehab when I was 36 years old, and my dad somehow falls in with a bunch of friends that he really likes that all ride motorcycles. And so his promise to me was like, if you can stay sober, we'll take motorcycle trips together. And I was like, I could care less at that point. It was like, life sucked so hard for me. I was like, whatever. So he gives me a motorcycle to keep over at my house in the hopes that it will sort of light a fire. And the kindling took. And we ended up, it was always a great story. He was the one that would never let me have one. And then when I didn't want one, he was the one that dangled it all in front of me. It was just so funny. And it became, a big part of my life.
Aww.
Yeah. There was a shape to what happened in our family. And with the, even with my mom sort of having a tragic end, I've considered myself incredibly lucky. And here's a weird thing too. My siblings and I, we are very close.
You are?
Yeah. We are.
What does closeness look like for y'all?
I live probably a mile away from my brother Bill. My brother Tom lives now in Colorado with his wife Deirdre. My sister lives probably three miles from me, and my stepmom, who I call mom now, she is just the most amazing person. She lives right on Highway 6. So it's
Mhm.
like, we're all sort of proximal. And we're not all up in each other's business, but when one of us is hurting, we're all trying to help. And all of us have a ton of spiritual tools and emotional tools from our therapy experiences, our MKP experience, in the 12 steps. So it's like we instantly connect when we're around each other, and we don't have resentments or ill, never resolved issues that are between us.
Yeah.
All of us consider ourselves very lucky to have escaped with so much. I mean, it's just, we're the story that proves the rule that most of the times things are far more complicated.